Hi all, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a botanical illustration using the Winsor and Newton watercolors and my wax-based color pencils. So this is the Winsor and Newton watercolor set. It's a pretty basic set with some very basic colors. What I have is the Winsor and Newton Cotman watercolors, and this is the sketch of the flower that I'm gonna paint today. And this is the reference image that I use for the sketch, and I got it from the Joy of Botanical Drawings. This is the book that I got the sketch from, and it's written by Wendy Hollander. Her work is really outstanding. So if you're interested in botanical drawings, you can just check it out. It's available on amazon.com. So going back to my sketch, I'm gonna start by adding a layer of watercolors as the base painting. This is a mix of yellows and greens for the stem, and this brush is a pony hair natural bristle brush, which I found to work really well for detailed work. And then over to the petals. The color is a mixture of red and white to create this light pink color. So adding a mixture of watercolors give me something for the background so that I can build up on top of it using my wax-based color pencils. But you have to wait until the watercolor layer dries really well. And you can do this using acrylic paint as well. It doesn't have to be only watercolors. You can put acrylic paint as the base coating and then build up using your color pencils. I use this same technique for my oil pastel paintings. That makes it so much easier to build up on top because a lot of artists don't like to start with a white background. These are the wax-based color pencils that I'm gonna use for this painting. The Prismacolor Premier. It has 48 really nice colors. I got this from a local art supply store, so I kind of had to pay almost the price of the 72 color set for this one. I had to pay for shipping as well as all the taxes and custom charges, and everything was added up. That's kind of the downside of getting art supplies during these COVID days, because you can't get it directly from amazon.com because shipping is stalled and nobody's visiting the country, so nobody's willing to bring down supplies for me. Right after I got this color pencil set, I did a color chart, and this is how it looks. And now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the color chart and also my reference image and picking up the colors that I think will be needed for this illustration. While I do that, I'm also taking colors from my Winsor and Newton wax-based color pencils. I actually got only one pencil from it, and I ended up not using it anyway. Just so you know, I only used Prismacolor color pencils in this illustration. So I have the Winsor and Newton pack of 6 colors, 12, sorry, it's 12 colors from Winsor and Newton, and almost all of the colors are covered in the Prismacolor 48 color set, except for maybe a couple of variations. I have now started building up the illustration using my color pencils. This is typically done in layers. Um, Now Prismacolor is a wax-based pencil and it's very soft and high in pigment quality. Because its waxy quality is very high, it's really hard to layer these pencils. I mean, if you go up to say 3 or 4 layers, then the surface typically becomes very resistant to more color layers. So what I usually do in situations like that is that I blend out the existing layers using some kind of pencil solvent. So I guess the solvent dissolves some of the waxiness from the surface, because after blending with the solvent, the surface becomes more receptive to more color layers. So now that I have added some layers, I think it's time to do a little bit of blending. So this is the solvent that I'm using. It's turpentine. It's a very cheap turpentine brand that I have here. It's not the best, but unfortunately it's the only thing available to me right now. Ideally you should be using something like Gamsol or any alcoholic blender. The turpentine is ideal for oil paints. You can use turpentine for wax pencils as well, but unless you are extra careful, I feel that the turpentine washes away the pigments of the surface of the painting. So ideally you should use something more like an alcoholic blender. I hope you can see that these colors are extremely vibrant and beautiful. Very vibrant and beautiful colors. A lot of color pencil artists rave about these Prismacolor pencils on the internet. This seems to be the favorite type of color pencils for a lot of artists. Although in the recent years the pencil quality has gone down just a little. The build quality of the pencils are not that great, but I think the pigment and the colors and the vibrancy, all of them are still like top notch. So a lot of artists like these pencils. You probably noticed that I am using a different brush to blend the color pencils than the brush that I used to apply the watercolor base painting at the beginning of this video. That is because I don't want to ruin my natural bristle brush by mixing the wax based color pencil pigment with turpentine. So it's always a good idea to keep a separate brush for each type of medium. Natural bristle brushes are ideal for watercolor paintings, and the one that I use to blend color pencils is a synthetic bristle brush. These petals have little patches. Nothing in nature is perfect. I think this flower is not too young and fresh. It's starting to decay, so it's in the latter stages of its life. That's something I really like about the botanical illustrations of the author of the book that I showed you earlier. She never paints perfect subjects. Her flowers are missing petals, leaves have patches in them, fruits are raw, things like that. So, that is exactly how you see it in real life, in nature. And that makes it so much more relatable and familiar than those fresh and brightly colored fruits that some artists use. Sometimes people like to see that reality rather than those ripe and beautiful blooming flowers with a lot of butterflies and all that stuff. So that's something I really enjoy about her illustrations. They are very realistic. Okay, I think I'm done, and this is the final drawing. And this is the comparison between the original illustration and the one that I did. The original one looks more realistic. I think there are a few things that I need to improve in my illustration. I'm totally new to this medium and also totally new to botanical illustrations, so I guess everything takes a learning curve, and I have to be patient and keep trying. I also like these color pencils and I'm hoping to use them in future videos. Actually, wax-based color pencils is a new medium that I happen to like very much. In the future, I'm planning to buy the Faber-Castell Polychromos color pencils. It's not a wax-based color pencil, it's an oil-based color pencil, but it's a color pencil nonetheless. So I just want to try it because this author of the book that I told you about at the beginning of the video, she uses Faber-Castell polychromos, and which I guess is easier to layer. Actually, because it's an oil-based medium, it takes a lot more layers than the wax-based Prismacolor color pencils. Anyway, that's for another video. I hope you enjoyed this small floral botanical illustration that I did. Please do subscribe to my channel because I'll be bringing you more art videos every week. And thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.